Good evening, church family. Glad you're here tonight. It's about time to get started. Glad you're here on a Wednesday night. It's a good chance to recharge our batteries, be among those that we love as family. So grateful that you're here tonight to help us sing out and then to hear a good lesson. Tonight we probably won't introduce our speaker as we all know him pretty well. It's Phillip. If you don't know him, then you've not been here in a while. So you'll know who's speaking tonight. Just got a few announcements want to bring to your attention. The men's monthly breakfast, that's going to be next Monday, the 23rd. It's at Cedars Restaurant at 6:30 a.m. If you're able to attend that, it's always a good time. Lots of good conversations happen around a breakfast like that, and pretty good food for a good price. So again, that's next Monday, Cedars Restaurant, 6:30 a.m. The Sunset Shoe Shop on Sunday was a great success, and that was thanks to all of you who participated. I thought it was pretty impressive that we announced that, and then all the slips were gone at first service. So that was great to have that kind of participation in that. So it was a good turnout. A lot of kids are going to have some great shoes to start the school year and hopefully carry them through the year. Semi-annual Fairhaven paper drive is going to be on Sunday, September 12th. Get your paper products to help out the children's home while they're still on the shelves. So be sure and bring some of those in. Some of you might still have some from the last time, so you might bring some of those in with you. But we usually make a great big mountain of it in the back, and then they come and pick that up with the truck and take it. And we're kind of the sole provider for all their paper goods for the whole year. So we do it twice a year, and this one's coming up on September 12th. So bring those in. Probably not as early as next Sunday, but you know, after that one, you can probably bring them in and start stacking them up. It's all the announcements. I'm going to lead a couple of songs. I'll turn it over to Phillip, and then if we have some time, we'll lead some more after that. Turn to 226. Grab a book in front of you there. 226. 226. Let's sing out. O Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art. Mountain grandeur, and hear the brook, and feel the gentle breeze. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. When Christ shall come with shout of acclamation and take me home, what joy shall fill my heart. Then I shall bow in humble adoration, and there proclaim, my God, how sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Let's do number 345. 345. When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. Though Satan should buffet, though trials should come, let this blessed assurance control that Christ hath regarded my helpless estate, and hath shed his own blood for my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. And Lord, haste the day when the faith shall be sight, the clouds be rolled back as a scroll, the trump shall resound, and the Lord shall descend. Even so, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul.
Good evening, church family. It is a pleasure to be together, isn't it? Good to see everybody tonight. Before we get started, I was handed a piece of paper from Brother Raymond Glendenning, and it says beginning September 1st of this year, he will be teaching the adult auditorium class on Wednesday nights. It says that will be a study on the attitudes and characteristics of the prophets. So I imagine most everybody here has just had the pleasure and has been blessed by hearing Brother Raymond preach and give class, especially on Wednesday night here at Sunset. But if you haven't, let me tell you for just a moment that Raymond is a seasoned preacher. He's a man of the Word and knows how to present it very well. So if you can come starting in September to his class on the attitudes and characteristics of the prophets, you will be blessed. So I wanted to mention that for Raymond. Well, tonight, for the second to last part of our summer series, I have been asked by numerous people, by several people, to speak a little bit to what happened to Elena, my wife, in the month of July. As you know, she was hospitalized with COVID for 6 days, and during that time there was just a lot of details. I won't tell you all the details because there's a lot of things that went on, but just a really emotionally, physically, spiritually trying time for us. And you guys know that. You probably saw us posting on Facebook the updates and things like that. So as a result of that, a lot of you have said, hey, sometime can you tell us about that? We want to know kind of what happened and sort of the events and how they played out earlier last month. So I thought tonight I would take a few moments to share that story with you. Hopefully you won't find it just too terribly boring or laborious or anything like that. But then I want to tell you a few principles, a few applications, life lessons that we learned as a result of that experience, because there are definitely some things that we learned as a result of her being in the hospital. Before I start, I want to acknowledge that there are a lot of people that have suffered a lot more than we have. There's people that have had COVID that suffered a lot worse than we did. So the goal of tonight is not primarily to garner sympathy as if like our situation was somehow vastly worse than other people's situations. It's just to tell you the story and to tell you about how Jesus comforted us through you guys and some other ways, and really to reflect His glory and His grace that He gave to us in that situation. I'm creeping up this way because that's what I did Sunday night, but I'm not going to neglect the people outside. Sorry. So she tested positive for COVID on July 4th. That was a Sunday. But several days before that, in fact, about a week before that, she had very low energy. Elena's in her 20s, very good health, absolutely zero underlying health conditions, but she was 37 weeks pregnant, 9 months pregnant, very close to being, actually I think they consider 37 weeks to be full term. So that might have been the only thing that was considered to be abnormal or sort of an underlying condition. So her energy was just really, really low, just feeling very lethargic. She started becoming short of breath. So finally, we took her to the labor and delivery triage at the hospital multiple times, but she was never sick enough for them to keep her or really for them to do anything. I think a lot of you have probably experienced something similar, where you know there's something wrong with you, but they keep sending you home. They won't do anything for you. And that's not their fault. She just wasn't sick enough yet. Well, finally, she went and they did a COVID test, and she ended up being positive on Sunday, but they sent her home because she wasn't sick enough to do anything yet. Over the course of Monday and Tuesday, that would have been the 5th and the 6th, she just really started to lose energy. Like I said, she's a very healthy person, but she had trouble getting from room to room. The lowest point on Wednesday is when she couldn't stand up on her own. She couldn't even get out of the particular room in our house that she was in. And I knew that things might be pretty serious when I would ask her questions and try to talk to her, and she stopped responding to me on Wednesday. So I said, okay, we've got to go back to the hospital. Like this is definitely not getting better. So we took her back to the labor and delivery triage because the emergency rooms, as you've probably heard on the news, are just absolutely nuts. So we took her back up there, and they said that her oxygen levels, which were dipping like under 90, and especially for somebody that's supporting another person with oxygen, that was just not good. So they decided to admit her. So she's in the labor and delivery triage, and that night we talked to many doctors. One of the first ones we spoke to was an OBGYN who said that Elena was in such bad shape that night that we needed to prepare ourselves because the next day they wanted to deliver the baby, and they wanted to probably do it via C-section because she wasn't going to be strong enough to deliver naturally. So that really freaked us out, to say the least. We thought we had, another 3, maybe 4 weeks to have a baby. I was still psyching myself up to be a dad again, and then this guy's telling us we were going to have a baby the next day, so that kind of rocked our worlds a little bit. They also told her that pregnant women are susceptible to having blood clots when they have COVID, so they needed to give her some blood clotting medicine. But they said if she felt like she was going into labor, they needed to take her off that medicine as soon as possible because she would be at risk for hemorrhaging during birth. So we were just receiving all of this really scary information, and it was just very, very frightening. So that night, we heard that there was a 70-person wait to get into the COVID unit, which doesn't even sound right, but that's what they said. But since she was pregnant, they put her in the mother-baby unit, where all the new moms and their new babies were. They had a room open there. So the good news is that I could stay with her overnight, so I felt pretty good about that. But the next day, her oxygen needs just really increased dramatically. So there was a bed that opened up in the COVID unit at Mercy, so they wanted to move her over there. They just couldn't give her the care that she needed, the level of oxygen that she needed in the mother's unit, so they needed to transfer her somewhere else. So we were happy with that because, we wanted her to get the best care that she could possibly get, but the major downside is that I was unable to go with her. So they said that they tried everything. They ran it up the ladder, to see if I could go with her, but of course that wasn't going to be possible. So they put Elena in a wheelchair and they wheeled her off to the COVID unit, and there I was with our stuff, and I remember going down the elevator and just crying, just bawling. And I get back in our car and I'm driving home. I can barely see the road. It's just, I haven't cried probably that much